Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today we are going to take a quick peek at the journals and notebooks that I used in March, including some changes to things that I very recently added into my system, which I will do a more in-depth flip on that in a subsequent video later this week, in the next 10 days roughly. March was a bit of a reset month for me for a couple reasons. February was really quite busy with my mother having a total knee replacement surgery. That meant that my schedule and the things that I normally do shifted quite a bit, and I wasn't able to keep up with things the way that I normally do. I also had some travel in March, so that played a role in things as well. And I'm so excited because going into April, I feel like things are getting back into the normal routine, and I'm very much grateful for that. Let's go ahead and take a peek at what I used in the month of March. Go ahead and grab a hot drink, settle in. This won't be a terribly long video, but it will be cozy, so let's get started. All right, let's start with the least exciting of the bunch, at least the one that's going to be the most consistent month to month, and that is going to be my A6 5-year Teto. I actually don't touch this every single day, but what I do is every 2 or 3 days, I sit down and I fill in what were the highlights and notable moments of the day. And I've been still using my TWSBI Rose Gold Diamond in medium, inked up with the Beaver Dam Brown from Ferris Wheel Press, and it's still writing beautifully. I don't know what ink I want to switch into next, but I have a couple on hand that I might get into that I know will also write beautifully in this medium nib. I'm finding that TWSBI medium nib is my favorite nib, if I'm being quite honest, and I keep saying this, I need to get on this. I may be destashing some of my other TWSBIs in favor of restocking my fountain pen collection with some nibs that I like more, but I love the way that it writes on this paper. This I started in 2024, so I didn't get that bad batch of paper that everybody else got who got their 5 years in 2025, fortunately, so I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, so this was just, again, nothing crazy happening here, just a little short entry, 1 or 2 little nuggets of the day, a little bit more if I have more to write on. I was in Nashville this day, and so I had a little bit more to expand on, and it's the perfect size for some daily memory keeping. So this is my 5-year Teto. The other one that's also been here in the mix has been my Grief and Therapy journal, which this is a standard TN with a Midori insert plus a Planner Monkey Co. freely noted standard size insert, and it's in a Sojourner cover. This was actually gifted to me by Rowena. We both live in the same state, and we are both locals at the same coffee shop, and when we first met, she so generously gifted me this cover, and so this is very near and dear to my heart. You will never see the inside of this, but I've been using it with my TWSBI 1.1 stub nib in this Prussian blue, and I really love the stub nib for this journal specifically because the ink is really dense and beautiful and the writing is really big, so I can fill up a lot of space pretty quickly because I don't use this every single day, maybe once a week at most. Okay, and then obviously I have my reading Personal Development Notes notebook, and I remember mentioning in the last update that I wasn't going to be doing my daily Stoic reflections in here anymore. I just really struggled with not writing anything when I was reading those passages. But I also didn't want to keep muddying up my notes for my other books that I'm reading. So I've been maintaining this for my 2 books that I'm reading right now, which is Financial Feminist and The Mountain Is You. Those are going to take me a while to get through, realistically speaking. I only get into them maybe once or twice a week, and I focus on one chapter at a time. So if I'm in one chapter for one book, I'm not actively reading the other book, so I bounce back and forth. So what I did was I actually brought into the mix this month, and this is new, an A6 Han. And this is the navy one with the gold stripe, which I thought was so beautiful. And I got a couple little accessories for it. This is a Midori clip band that just clips to the back of the notebook, keeps it shut. I don't feel the need to put this in its own cover because this is a hardcover book. And then I got a pen loop to house the Jinhao 10, which I am using with this book with the Waterman Black. It works pretty well in this book. There's no major issues. And I'm only writing a little bit, so I'll do a little pen test for you on this A6 Han on this Jinhao. Use just some of these notes pages back here. So this is the, and I'll zoom in a little bit more for you to see. Jinhao 10, this is the fine nib with Waterman Intense Black. And I wasn't crazy about this pen at first because for a daily driver, I found that it ran out of ink really fast because the converter in it is pretty small. And I'm used to like the TWSBIs that have these really massive converters. Like they hold a lot of ink in comparison to this. But this, for just being the daily entries, and I'll show you, is actually really great. So I write the title of whatever I'm reading the day of, and I actually am slowly going back through January and February and rewriting things in. So I'm doing kind of 2 entries a day, but I am only writing the title plus a couple of key things that stand out to me or restating things in my own words based off of whatever that day's reading is. And so this A6 book is just enough size. So it's plenty if I have a lot to write, but if I don't write a ton, like here, this is also super okay. And I love that it's dated because it coincides with the dated entries in the reading. And I really like that. I'm actually thinking of next year because I also want to read The Pivot Year by Brianna Wiest, who is also the author of The Mountain Is You. But I also want to reread Daily Stoic because I feel like it's one of those readings that you get more out of every time that you read through it. I'm actually thinking of getting an A6 Midori that's the 2 pages per day. So I can do 1 page for Daily Stoic and 1 page for the Pivot Year. And then I can do the daily entries on both, which I'm playing with that idea. It's in the brainstorm list, but this is what this looks like. I'm not using any of the monthlies or the front pages in this, or even like the monthly trackers. I don't have a purpose for them. I don't need to fill them in. I'm just gonna leave them blank. I don't wanna try to force myself to use them. I'm only really using the daily pages, and it's absolutely been perfect for daily Stoic reflections and keeping up with that reading. Plus, if I get a few days behind, it's very easy to see where I need to maybe get caught back up because I'll be able to just see what days I've written on and what days are still empty. Okay, one more thing that's slightly new from March, and this is something that I've been really excited about. This is not a new book. This is not a new cover. Originally got this pocket notebook from Planner Monkey Co. It's a freely noted, the little chunky one it's a pocket size, not passport actually, even though this is a passport cover that was from Naya Papery. It was a ready to ship, and it's very squishy and it's perfect for this book. I originally got this to just be daily journaling, and that worked until I realized that I needed everything in one. And this is right around May 2024 of when I then switched into rings, and it was just sitting on my shelf. I said, you know what, this is a great book. I'm just going to, and you can even see I did a little December 2024 cover page and then never used it. I set this book up with some washi tape and then I didn't touch it again. But I knew that this would be a great book to just keep on the shelf, keep it in its cover, keep it set up, because I will have a purpose for it at some point. I think just having a pocket notebook on hand, ready to go at any given point in time is just, it's a good thing to have on hand. And so actually, this month I felt very excited and called to re-engage in a longtime hobby of mine that I haven't picked up in a few years, which is not a coincidence because 4 years ago now, where my dad got sick and then he was sick for the last few years and then we lost him in October 2023, is crocheting and knitting. And I used to love crocheting and knitting. I got into it in 2018-ish after I got out of grad school, and I was like, oh, I have time for hobbies. What's something I want to learn how to do? And I always really wanted to learn how to crochet and knit, and so I really got the opportunity to learn. And I loved gifting things to people. I loved making things for my home, and I just didn't want to engage in it. It wasn't that I didn't want to do it. It's just that I didn't. If you ever have struggled with mental health or depression, you know what it's like to know, I know I enjoy this, but I do not have the capacity to engage in it right now. And I felt excited to do it again. So I picked up a couple of my old projects, started a new one, had some old yarn that I needed to figure something out to do with. I have in here just keeping track of where I'm at in certain projects. So this crochet blanket that I'm making, I have the different color changes and how many rows. So every time I finish a row, I check it off. So very similar to bullet journaling. I'll put a slash if I've started the row and then an X when I finished it, so I know where I'm at when I pick the project up. Here is a scarf that I'm knitting, and I'm currently in a section of repeat rows. So I just wrote out the repeat pattern and I'm checking them off. And then once I get here on this page, I'll write the next little section and then add in so I can check off where I'm at with it. And then here is another blanket that I started a long time ago and never finished it. And it's a knit blanket that I've loved working on and I'm so excited to finish it. I just wrote out where I'm at in the repeats and roughly about how many more repeats I have to do. There's no set repeat X amount of times, it's just to the measurement. So I just have it set up to check off what row I'm on or in progress of at any given point in time. And this is perfect because I will actually take my little projects in their tote bags with me. And when I have a break during the workday, I'll sit and work for 20 minutes and listen for an audiobook. And I can just toss this in with my yarn in the tote bag. And it's so small because what I was doing was I had some of the notes listed in my big TN, and this was just really large to carry around for just a hobby, right? So this has been the perfect solution to this, and so I'm so excited that I get to use this, and this is just the cutest little pocket. You guys, are we kidding? Like, these PMC notebooks, Planner Monkey Coat, she makes a beautiful notebook, and then this is one of my best purchases that I made from Naya Papery, was just this passport cover, and this notebook just fits perfectly into it. It's squishy, it's soft, it wipes down easily if it gets scuffed up. And then I just got these little charms that I added on here forever ago, and I had a little chunky pen and it's perfect. So this is my yarn project tracker for the moment. It's definitely not going to be that forever, but for right now, that's what it's functioning as, and I am enjoying it with that purpose. So now I need to zoom back out a little bit because I have to show you guys now the main event. Obviously, my most recent video, I showed you guys that I got a new cover, and boy, when I tell you that I didn't know that I needed a new cover until I needed a new cover, it was more so that I needed a bigger cover with more room, because look how thick she is. And this is just, it's got everything in it that I want. And so what I ended up doing in March is I had made a purchase from Planner Monkey Co. to get a few more inserts, restock a couple of washi tapes because I ran out of some. And for example, the two that I got recently, I don't know where the other one went, but it's a bookish tape, but I ran out of this tape. I had this tape in a gray and I used it up. So when she had a sale, I was like, listen, I will go in and get a couple more inserts and restock some tapes that I ran out of. I've actually used up several rolls of my washi since decluttering my washi, and I'm very happy for that. But I knew I had some staples that I'm like, listen, if I run out, I will replace it if it's something I use regularly. And that is one of my rules with the unhauled year. I don't need to buy it just to buy it, but if I run out of something and I want to replace it, I'm going to replace it. So that's what I did. I was so intrigued, and I really had wanted to try the Freely Planned that Sydney had designed, but I didn't do the pre-order because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not. I was hemming and hawing about it, and then was chatting with Theory of Lauren. She goes, oh no, they're still on the website. They're in stock and you can order one. I was like, listen, say less. Let me grab one. partially because I knew that I wanted to find a more cost-effective way to use my TN than always use inserts. I love the inserts from Planner Monkey Co., these gray 90-page inserts, but they're $13 US a piece, and if I'm going through them as fast as I was, that was gonna get very pricey very quickly. So I had, for the first part of March, my dailies in here, my journaling in here, and then my long-term notes in here that I didn't want to have to migrate from book to book. Then enter in this book right here. Kind of ended up being able to replace not only my Sterling ink inserts, but also the Hobonichi weeks that I had set up for my fitness and goals tracking. I was debating on switching, but I realized that I had room to migrate all of the information from January, February, and the first half of March back into this book. And I had enough room to use this book for the rest of the year, and that the only inserts that I would need to then move into when I ran out would be my notes, because my notes to me is different than my daily rapid logs. My notes is like checklists, stuff that I'm doing on a weekly basis, notes for networking meetings, things like that. It has my wish list in it. It has a savings, happy mail tracker. It's got a savings challenge in it. It's got a whole mess of things. This is different than my dailies, which are very much like a running, we don't need to talk about this, running to-do list of things for various items. And so I like having my notes separate from my dailies. That's just how my brain works. Although I know theoretically it can go in both, I like them separate. Anyway, so the first half of March, I had my dailies in here, and actually my dailies in here from February 3rd. So let me see if I can find where March started. And I struggled in March, starting at the end of February. So here was March 1st. Then I just started letting things be messy because I was feeling very rigid in what I was setting up on a daily basis. While it served me after a while, I'm going through EMDR therapy, and so I'm realizing that there are some things that I was holding on to in routines and things that I was attached to that I didn't need to be attached to, and forcing myself to do it for the sake of finishing it and doing it the same way all the time was causing me more stress and overwhelm than not. So I started relaxing a little bit, went from my traditional day on 2-page preset to just doing very much more, setting up each day as it came. So we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday on here, for example. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I really started finding my groove here, right? And so even here, Thursday, Friday, and then this was weekend wish list. I didn't even do the daily stickers because this was just for that weekend. And then this is when I decided to move into the freely planned. And so I'm gonna do a more in-depth video on this here shortly, but I have in here my personal care habits on a quarterly basis that shift a little bit from month to month, but for the most part, I like having this because if I don't have this, I don't always pay attention to when was the last time I did something. I set up one of these pages as my annual overview for activities and cycle and intimacy with my Righty.plan stickers. I backlog medications and stuff for January. I turned this habit tracker page because these pages were these pages that were like habits. So I just converted them into these annual overviews. This is my weight log. And then the monthlies is where I'm logging my medicine, castor oils. I'll show you March because March is a little bit more filled out. So I have castor oil, Adderall, if I did body work, CH if I had a chiropractic appointment, and then I would write on here when I would do my peptide injections. In March, there's that, and then I set up in April my tracker for April, which actually a lot of my goal stuff switched into here because I could. And so I have gut health, sleep, steps, supplements that I am currently focusing on. They will not change for the month of April, and then my daily reading, daily stoic, personal development, and my accounting behaviors. And then here I outline my priorities for quarter 2 for personal care. Similar to how it was in the Sterling ink insert that I had for the monthly, but I just picked a blank page because, for example, in May, it's like I have the tracker over here and then this page is totally blank. So I can do whatever I want on these pages, which is amazing. And then the horizontal weeklies is ending up being my nutrition and exercise, goals, habits, wins working, adjustments not working in any other notes. And I am in the process of backlogging the first like 12 weeks of the year. I just took photos of everything and I'm backlogging everything, which feels stupid because I did that in my Hobonichi weeks, but now I'm backlogging for my weeks into here. But I was like, listen, I know I just got that weeks. I know I just set it up, but if I can fit everything in one, that is for me always the ideal. And why make extra work if I don't need to, like from having to carry a bunch of things. So I'm in the process of migrating things. I'm definitely not done yet. I have them saved in an album on my phone. I'm not stressing about it. And then in the back here is where my dailies are. So my first daily in here was actually March 24th. So it was the end of March that I switched into this. So I have March 24th, Tuesday, the 25th. And then if I need a timeline, I have my Randy.plan stickers in my sticker release insert right here. And I can just pull from here and stick one in. And then I'm setting it up as the day goes on. So here, this was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And none of this made me lose my mind. Okay, then this was going into this first week of April. And so these little boxes, I did them in a different color because I was migrating from the previous days of what was still left over into these days. Then what I'm gonna do when I set up actually for this week is anything that's in here and it's still incomplete is gonna be backlogged into my Notion, which is my digital keeper for tasks and things. And so I've really been loving this. Again, this is just messy, and then here's, for example, today, and it's just Sunday, and then I'm writing out the various lists of things that I need to do, and we're fine. Like nothing bad is happening, everything's perfectly fine, and I'm feeling okay with this. I don't need the day on 2 pages anymore, and I have plenty of room. I'm averaging right now 3 days on a 2-page spread. I will have plenty of room to put dailies in here. And then I still have my journaling in this insert. So I started this journal insert on the 3rd. I'm gonna keep my journaling separate still into its own insert because I just like it that way. And these are some of my pages from, I think March started here. So here's my March pages for journaling. Again, just small entries some days, and then some days are bigger entries. So like this Friday had a longer entry. And then I don't get to journal every single day, but I do at least 5 or 6 days a week. And so for example, Thursday took a lot more room, Friday and Saturday, like I only have short entries here, and then Friday had longer entries. And I just do what I call micro journaling, where these are all, and I write the time of day that I'm writing. So this was one entry on Monday, this was the second entry on Monday, this was the first entry on Tuesday, a second entry Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning, Thursday midday, and then I didn't journal again until Saturday, and then here's the start of April, right? And so this journal insert still has plenty of pages left. I'll probably make it through, I would guess like May, maybe even into June with this particular insert, and then I will archive it and stick in a new 90-page insert. I have a few more here for journals, and then I'll just date the inside and then archive them all together. Very similar to my notes. I've only used this much so far of this insert, and I still have this much left. So this is the halfway point, and I still have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 pages till the midway point. So I have plenty of room still even in this notes, which when this runs out, I'll migrate over anything that needs to be migrated and then shelve it for the 2025 season and just archive it with everything else. That was what I was using in March and some of the changes that happened. So that is it, my friends. And so really it was getting into this bigger cover that really let me finally expand the way I needed to expand in everything that I wanted to have with me on a daily basis, because everything else can be left behind. But this one has to be the one that comes with me. This is like the source of truth for all the things. Everything else is just bonus. So there we go. That is everything from my March lineup and what I'm using going into April. If you guys have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. Thank you for also so much for being so patient with me as I've taken a hiatus from social media on multiple fronts. Even took a bit of a break from my business Instagram page because I was planning to anyway, and then when I got behind after everything that went down with my mom's surgery and her staying with me and taking care of her, I was just like, listen, I guess we're just taking an extra long break, and that's okay. Nothing fell apart. The world didn't end. My business didn't implode. It actually served me better because I was able to give more time and energy into my clients and community members that have inquired about coaching. I had 5 new clients enroll in March, which was really fantastic to get those people onboarded and start working with them. So I was very excited about that. So I had plenty of things to do in March without trying to keep up with marketing. And yeah, stay tuned here for a few more videos. I'm batch recording a few things this afternoon. It is Sunday, April 6th, late evening, and then I can edit them here over the next few weeks and get them dropped. So thanks so much for being here, everybody, and I'll catch you on the next one.